You ever feel like you're doing everything you can? You're doing everything you can to live your dream life, to be able to do everything you want. Maybe it's success, maybe it's manifesting, whatever you want to call it. You're doing everything you can. But then one day you wake up and you realize that you don't feel like yourself anymore. It's almost like you lost yourself in the process of achievement. You understand? In the process of trying to live your dream life so bad, you don't know who you are anymore. And this can happen from several different angles, my friends. This could happen in relationships, trying to attract your SP, inside already attracting them. You feel like you lost yourself. This could happen. You're trying to manifest your dream car, your dream house, trying to become a millionaire. You lose yourself. This could happen when you're following your mentors, you're doing everything they tell you, and then you wake up one day and you feel like, I'm not me anymore. And I'm going to give you just one core thing, what's really happening and how to fix it here. Okay, so listen very closely. The reason why you're really feeling that way, the reason why it feels off, the reason why things are not working, it's kind of like you're kind of just, you came right up against a brick wall and you can't break it down. Okay, so listen, two things here. The reason why you feel that way is you are not being the authentic you. You are not being the authentically you, my friends. And that aligns with, when you're being the authentic self, that aligns with your own standards, boundaries, and non-negotiables you have around your life. You see, think about it this way. Like when you're following other people, you have mentors and coaches, lots of times what you end up doing, you're mimicking their behaviors, but it's not your own behaviors. Okay, that's why you start to feel off. That's why you feel off. You feel like things are not working because you're not being your authentic self. Okay, same way in relationships. Okay, the reason why you don't feel like it's working, the reason why you feel off, okay, is because you're too much trying to make them happy, okay, or you're constantly doing what they want you to do. You're giving up that piece of you. You're not being your authentic self. And again, like I said, that's aligning your standard, boundaries, and non-negotiables. You're giving up on your standards, boundaries, and non-negotiables, especially when we're talking about relationships. You see, my friends, like the key to success, yes, you can have mentors. Yes, you can have coaches because they can really help you out. They can really speed up results for you. Okay. But you have to be authentically you. You have to be you. There's no other person except you. With all your quirks, either you love them or you hate them. If you're funny, you're quirky, you're serious, it doesn't matter what you are, okay? You're authentically you, and you build yourself around that. You understand? You stop mimicking other people. That's why you feel lost. That's why you don't feel like yourself anymore, because you're really not being yourself. You're being another person. Okay. And this is something even I realized that I was kind of sucking into, like me trying to get my YouTube channel off the ground and stuff like that, become viral and stuff like that. I kind of felt like I was being like other people. I was mimicking too much, okay, rather than just being the authentic Chad. Okay. And this is kind of, even though it sounds easy, it sounds like an easy talk, but this brings up a whole bunch of stuff because lots of times people are so kind of lost in this that they don't even know what authentic means. They don't even know how to be authentic because they've either their whole life they've either always blended to somebody else, they've always mimicked somebody else, or they're inside a relationship where they're always doing what the other person wants to do. You're always kind of bending kind of what you want to do. You're always kind of bending your standards or boundaries and non-negotiables around your life. So, I mean, how you kind of fix this is, for one, start doing what you want to do. Like in the beginning, you might start saying no a little bit more. That's what I would probably have you do. Start saying no a little bit more, especially if you're in a relationship. Like if they ask you to go somewhere, if you don't want to go, say no. Okay, start practicing saying no. Start practicing doing what you want to do, dressing how you like to dress, be okay with it. Talk how you talk. If you're kind of funny and quirky, be funny and quirky. That's you. That's the authentic you. And you're okay if people like it or they don't like it. Like even on YouTube and sometimes across social media, sometimes I'll post like really funny videos. Okay, that's just me. You understand? I'm kind of quirky and funny. And so, some people's not going to like it. Some people's going to be bothered by it. Some people's going to be like, "Well, Chad, that's not professional." you understand? But that's me. That's the authentic side of me. So I'm just kind of showing who I really am, and you should be okay with that. Be okay with you. You understand? That's why I give you all the simple things to do. Then I've aligned standards, boundaries, and negotiables. Okay, lots of times what happens when we're not being the authentic you, okay, you at the same time, you don't have standards or boundaries or non-negotiables. You understand? Because if you're bending yourself, okay, you're also bending your standards or boundaries and non-negotiables. You're also kind of overlooking it. Okay, now this is really big in the SP world. Okay, you want to attract your SP. Okay, you want them to really like you. Then in the very beginning, when they're already violating your standards or boundaries that you have, you overlook it. Then several months down the road, you're kind of like, well, what's going on? Why is the relationship bad? Okay, why am I not happy? Because you've bent your standards and boundaries and non-negotiables. So you have to have, listen guys, you have to have your standards and boundaries. What you stand for, and I'm not just talking about an SP or relationship. Listen, even in success and manifesting, this can get confusing, but you have to understand you manifest, listen to this, you manifest on your lowest standard. You manifest on what you tolerate in life. That should scare you a little bit because when you're lowering your standards and boundaries, you lower it so much to what you tolerate. That's what comes to you. So listen, it becomes like this simple. If you tolerate people just talking to you, whatever how they want to talk to you, well, that's what's going to come to you. You understand? If you tolerate poor work, well, that's what's going to come to you. You understand? You manifest, you attract to you what you tolerate in life. How do you change it? Is you become the opposite. You become more clear on your standards and boundaries. You become more clear on what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. And again, guys, I'm not just talking about SP. I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm talking about life in general because this is what we do in life. We either uphold our standards or boundaries or we don't. I mean, it's just like the same thing. Like if you go to a restaurant and you order a steak or you order filet mignon and you order it medium rare and it comes out flipping well done. And I mean well done. I mean some places you go, if it comes out well done, it's flipping burnt. What do you do? Okay, do you just accept it? Even though the filet mignon is like $50, $70, $100, depending upon where you go. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll just accept it. You start eating it. Then the whole time you're eating it, you're whining and complaining about how you ordered it medium rare, they brought it out burnt. And that's what you talk about for the whole next week. That's what you talk about at work. That's what you talk about to your significant other. That's what you talk about to your friends. You understand? Okay, listen, you lowered your standards to something you tolerated, and that's what came to you. Rather than it came out well done, it came out burnt, and you raise your hand, the waiter or waitress comes over and you say, hey, when I ordered this, I ordered it medium rare. This is obvious not medium rare. Can you make me a new one? You understand? You see, that's upholding your standards, boundaries, and non-negotiables. Because it wasn't my fault, because I clearly communicated what I wanted, and that's not what came to me. So I made it right. It's the same thing, my friends. Even for you guys who are sitting there, well, Chad, you're being mean. You should just go with it. Well, that's why manifesting isn't working for you. And for those of you that love Neville Goddard, you see, for those of you that love Neville Goddard, you don't really dig into his stuff, okay? You just know living the end, maybe the revision technique, the bedtime routine, go inside your imagination, but you don't really listen to him stuff. Like I have some really hardcore on my playlist called Neville Goddard on my channel. That's really him teaching. That's not AI. And guys, Neville Goddard did the same thing. Okay, and he was more harsh than me. Okay, he would give an example how he would go to a restaurant and he ordered some type of like steak or meat, and he wanted some type, I forget what he wanted. He wanted some type of truffle sauce that it didn't come with the meat, but he wanted it. And he waved the waiter to come over. The waiter came over and he asked for this truffle sauce. And the waiter did something, either rolled his eyes at him or something like that, or said no, or they did both, like kind of with attitude. And Neville Goddard kind of caught him on it right away. He was literally like, well, listen, like, is this a charity? Am I eating here for free? And the waiter was like, well, no, you're paying for it. And Neville Goddard said, yes, exactly. So since I'm paying for it, then I want what I want. I want the truffle sauce with the meat. I know you have it back there because I come here all the time. So can you please go back there and get me my truffle sauce? Now, if this was a charity and this was for free, I would just eat it because it's for free, but I'm paying for it. Since I'm paying for it, I want what I want. See, Neville Goddard was really hardcore. Guys, those of you who don't know that, Neville Goddard was hardcore, but see, Neville Goddard knew the secret. Okay, listen, you get out of life what you tolerate in life. If you tolerate people being around you that always talk down to you, well, that's what's going to come in your life. Okay, that's why standards and boundaries around your whole life, you need to have clear standards and boundaries, and you need to uphold your standards and boundaries. Okay, it's the same thing with you manifesting your dream house, manifesting more money, manifesting your dream car. You understand? Like if things are not happening quick enough, everything in your mind is you want to quit. You snap out of it. You're like, no, dude, I drew the line in the sand. I am not moving until I have my dream life. I am not stopping until I get what I want. Okay, that's how you have to be. That's a standard and boundary. What I say, I always get. What I say always happens. That's a standard and boundary. And listen, guys, sooner or later, that will start happening in your life. And I know this is a long explanation, but you have to understand there's so much power in you being authentic. And when you're being authentic, that's aligned with your standards and boundaries and non-negotiables. Okay, listen, you can't be authentic and at the same time you have no standards or boundaries. If you have no standards or boundaries, this is why I know you're not being authentic. You understand? You're blending too much. Okay, you're lowering your standards or boundaries too much. You're lowering yourself to match the circumstance. You're lowering yourself to match the environment. That's what you're doing. Okay, what is it? What is it called? Masking? Like in high functioning autism, it's called masking. Is because you're blending to match the environment. Okay, I have high functioning autism, I know. Okay, you're blending yourself to match the environment. You're blending yourself to match the conversation. You understand? But if you're blending yourself, you're not being authentic and you don't have standards and boundaries. That's why lots of times when people have ADHD, they have high functioning autism, that's why lots of times they kind of always feel like they're not being themselves. They always feel like they lose themselves in relationships and jobs and stuff like that because they're masking too much. They're blending too much to the outside sources rather than them just being authentically them, and rather than them just being okay with either people's gonna like you or not like you. You understand? You have to be okay with it. Okay, you have to be okay with not everyone is gonna like the Chad. Okay, no matter I'm cool, I'm funny. Not everybody's gonna like cool and funny. You understand? I gotta be okay with that. Okay, and I gotta be okay with my standards and boundaries. I gotta know that, you know, people's not gonna like my standards or boundaries, but I still gotta uphold them. And if they don't like them, they don't want to respect them, but they can't hang out with me. Okay, but listen, as we wrap up this video, but the big but here, when you do this, when you are authentic, when you do have standards or boundaries around your life, okay, that's when you break that shell. That's when you break that you finally feel like yourself. You finally feel like you're doing what you want to do. You're acting like you want to act. You're dressing how you want to dress. You're talking how you want to talk. You're making decisions, the decisions that you want to make. You understand? Okay, you got to do that stuff, but it all starts with you being clear on your standards and boundaries, your non-negotiables. Okay, you have your own hobbies, you have your own friends, you hang out with them, you hang out with your friends. Okay, if you're inside a relationship, you don't just hang out with their friends, you hang out with your friends. Okay, you do your own hobbies also. It's so important to do this stuff. You understand? When somebody slides in and violates your standard and boundary, you let them know. Okay, sometimes it's not a person, sometimes it's an environment. If you're in an environment that's violating your standards and boundaries, you remove yourself from that environment. Okay, you don't tolerate it. You stop tolerating things that you don't like. Okay, and when you start doing this, you will start seeing a shift. For one, you start seeing a shift in how quickly success and manifesting comes to you. But at the same time, the same goal is you feel like yourself came back. That confidence came back. The old you came back. I don't mean your old identity, okay? But you came back. The Chad came back. That person came back, my friends. But other than that, just want to share those thoughts with you guys. A little bit longer than I thought in this video, but this was a tricky one a little bit. And comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this. If you need help out, jump into the comments. All the nuggets are there. Remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.